Reunited, and it feels so good. Josh Hart coming over in a trade with the Portland Trailblazers. He's now with Nick. His first game out the gate with his former teammate at Villanova, Jalen Brunson, taking on Larry Markkinen and the Utah Jazz. Brunson loving the Josh Hart edition. He had himself a game. More on JB in a second, but first things first, we got to go to that man, the New York Knicks lone all-star. It's none other than Julius Randle. How about Hart, though, in transition? He wasn't getting these type of looks in Portland. Game looks a lot easier when you get traded. As we close out the first quarter, speaking of trades, Taylor Horton-Tucker got traded this past offseason to Utah. Jazz made some deals at the deadline, got rid of Conley, Vanderbilt, and Beasley. Opened up some minutes for THT, who knocks in the buzzer beater for three. Josh Hart with the dish to Obi Toppin in transition, who finishes. Speaking of finishes, it's Larry Markkinen. The all-star to be goes and one. 29 points for Larry. Randle, oh man, he had 31 points. That was a tough deuce plus the foul. And then how about Brunson just skating in the garden, keeping that dribble alive. The New York Knicks go up by 12. Third quarter, Colin Sexton over the Markkinen, who goes and gets him a deuce. Refs even give him a whistle as well. Knicks, though, still up. It's Randle's turn. He goes baseline and dares you to step up. Knicks up by 5. Back and forth contest. It's Clarkson in the lane and scoring. What up to the Philippines? One of their own continues to get buckets for Utah. Clarkson this time around, swinging that thing around. THT mark it in for 3. We're tied at 99. Knicks, though, will get the last say-so in this one as Jalen Brunson continues to make his case for an all-star replacement. Brunson led everybody in scoring with 38. Off the miss, it's Barrett doubling the Knicks lead to 6 with 3:46 to go. Knicks still up 6, 100 seconds left. It's the New York Knickerbocker. Hart for 3. He had 11 in his debut, and New York gets the 6-point win over the Jazz. New York Knicks having a pretty good season thus far at 31-27, but they have not beaten the Brooklyn Nets in years. Could they do so following the Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving trades? Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle both think so. Drilling mid-range jump shots. Look at Brunson. He's been on an absolute tear thus far this season, his first one as a Knickerbocker. Inside we go. Beautiful ball movement from Steele. New York Knicks Josh Hart, who scores. Brooklyn, look, they got a little bit of everything right now as Cam Johnson, the new net, knocks in the 3. Speaking of new nets, Cam ain't alone. Spencer Dinwiddie came over in the Kyrie trade. Pulls a Kyrie right there, knocking in the 3. Brooklyn up by a deuce. Brunson, again, from the distant area. Looks like every time he calls that number, it goes nowadays. Spencer Dinwiddie, a 3 of his own. Dinwiddie had 28 points. He was an absolute baller. Third quarter, it's more of Brunson to the hard way, plus the foul. And then Brunson on Joe Harris, leaves him hanging. I'll call you back. It's Brunson using his strong hand. 15 of 21 from the field for JB. Brunson loving every second of this New York Knicks explosion at home. And his former Villanova teammate Josh Hart joining the fun. How about Josh going and getting him a season-high 27 points? Just what the doctor ordered, a trade. All I needed. Brunson, though, the story in this one, he would drop 40 on the Nets. And the streak of Nets winning over Knicks is finally over as New York improves to 32-27 on the season. If I'm Jalen Brunson, I'm loving my new employer, the New York Knicks. That is clear as day a move to appease Brunson, and it might mess around and end up appeasing the Knicks in the end here, depending on how much production and how much Brunson can pull out of his former Villanova teammate and Josh Hart. If I'm New York, I'm monitoring this one closely, man. Through 2 games, Josh Hart looks very comfortable in that New York Knicks uniform. Like I said, I'm just monitoring it closely. And a lot of people ain't going to want to hear this, but I'll be honest with y'all. I'm looking at Jalen Brunson and I'm looking at RJ Barrett. So far, the chemistry's looked all right at best. RJ was really good last year. You bring in Brunson, he's the guy. He's their guard of the future. The today and the future, as a matter of fact. Randall has returned to all-star form. If I can get 60 to 65% of the production that I'm getting in RJ Barrett and Josh Hart at what, 75, 85% lower cost? I don't know, man. RJ Barrett might be expendable, and he would be a guy that would have a lot of value on the open market. I believe so, at least, coming off of what he did last year, maybe not as much from this year. But that's what I'm monitoring. If Brunson likes this Josh Hart backcourt, which that's his guy, I think they were even roommates in college. If they can figure this thing out and the Knicks have more success than they've had in the playoffs in years past, which simply means getting out of the first round, maybe Josh Hart has found him a permanent landing spot in the Big Apple.